Lawyers representing Edward Snowden say that their client is settling into his new life in Russia. According to NBC's Jim Masada this morning, he is living for now with an expat American family in Moscow and eager to learn the language and get to work apparently as a human rights activist during his temporary asylum provided by Vladimir Putin. The Guardian's Glenn Greenwald has been in contact with Snowden since he fled the U.S. and joins me now. Glenn, thank you very much. Good to see you. Let's talk about Snowden. Have you been in touch with him since he was granted asylum?
I have, and he's doing very well. He's obviously very happy for the obvious reason that he's not going to be subjected to the standard whistleblower treatment that the United States government gives to people, which is to put them in cage for decades and render them incommunicado. And he's especially gratified because he's been following the debate that has been taking place in the halls of the United States Congress and around the world, and is very gratified that that was the debate that he hoped to provoke by doing what he did.
And what kind of life is he leading there? Or is this a temporary home that he's in now? Is he looking for a more permanent home? What can you tell us about just the lifestyle? Is he apparently with an American family?
Well, he's only been out of the airport for about 30 hours, so I don't think he's quite established what his lifestyle yet is going to be. Obviously, it's a new situation for him, but he knew when he took the risk to come forward and shine light on what the NSA was doing, things that no one in the United States, almost nobody in the United States or the world knew, that he was going to be radically changing his life, sacrificing the very comfortable and fulfilling life that he had in order to achieve these objectives of transparency. So I don't think he knows exactly yet what his future holds, but I know that he's happy not to be in the custody of the American government and subjected to the persecution that they subject whistleblowers to.
Do you think, given his vast knowledge beyond what he has technologically, but just his knowledge of the way things work in the intelligence community, and specifically at the CIA, do you think he would be cooperating with Russians, be willing to be debriefed by Russian officials? What is his posture towards being a resource for the Russians?
Yeah, I've been really astonished that media figures have been willing to be so irresponsible as to openly speculate that the Russian government or the Chinese government has obtained information from him, even though there's zero evidence to suggest that has happened. He has vehemently denied it. The New York Times was harshly criticized by their own public editor for speculating in print that this was true without evidence. I think the important thing is to use common sense here. He's a very smart individual. He knew that what the value was of what he had. If he were willing to share, let's just use common sense, to share with the Russian government or the Chinese government what it is that he had in order to benefit himself or promote his self-interest, he could have gone to either of those governments before he came to us and sold that information and lived the rest of his life a very rich man, or he could have passed it to them. He didn't do what he did and sacrificed his life in order to cooperate with the Russian and Chinese governments about how to better their surveillance systems. That's not why he did what he did. There's no evidence that he's given anything to them, and he insists that he hasn't. And everything that I know about him and what his actions have been would make me extremely shocked if he was willing to work with any government to help them better understand how to surveil their citizens.
Do you think that they could have taken documents or information from him without his knowledge, in Hong Kong in particular?
No, remember, he was a very sophisticated cyber operative. I know there have been media reports that he was some sort of low-level naif. There was actually very good reporting on this by the New York Times. He was trained as a... I'm not saying you were. I'm just saying I'm not at all suggesting you were. I'm saying that that was
amazingly sophisticated and knowledgeable and really brilliant at what he did.
Correct, and I share that assessment. And so there's very sophisticated encryption technology that prevents data from being obtained even by the most advanced governments, including the NSA. They have software that guesses billions of passwords a second. And this encryption technology takes even the NSA many years to crack. And so the idea that the Russian and the Chinese government could somehow pull out of the ether extremely encrypted data is the stuff of science fiction that nobody would take seriously who has knowledge of how encryption works.
I want to ask you about X-Keyscore. That is the most recent of your reports. Is there more to come?
Yeah, there's so many documents that we have that it's going to take us quite a while. It has taken us quite a while to vet them all, to read through them all, but there's a lot more domestic spying and international spying that the NSA does that even people in Congress don't know about, that we're going to continue to report very aggressively.
Now, I want to ask you a question about something that has just been breaking in the last 24 hours as well, because you have been outspoken about the need for gay rights. And here, Snowden is now in Russia, which is saying to gay Olympians that they will be prosecuted under the Russian law. How do you feel, as good as you obviously feel about what Russia has done to grant asylum to Mr. Snowden, how do you feel about Russia's law against gay rights?
I feel that it's a disgusting law. Russia has all sorts of very radical problems in its human rights record, including its practice towards its gay citizens, just like the United States has all kinds of human rights abuses and putting people in prison without charges and the like. When someone seeks asylum, they're not seeking to declare the civil liberties nirvana. They're seeking to be protected from political persecution at home. He's not in Russia because he thinks it's a pristine place or because it's what he chose. He was passing through there. He got forced to stay there by the United States. But Russia has very serious problems with its human rights record, just as most large countries in the world do, and what you asked me about is definitely one of them.
Glenn Greenwald, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Andrea.